Hey everyone, welcome back to Running Your Best Life. I'm Victor Vizcaino, your marathon and triathlon coach. And beside me is my awesome co host, Adele.
Hey, thanks, Victor. I'm really fired up for this one. We're going to hit some good topics today.
Well, today we are stepping off the race course and into the doctor's office. The recent news that former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer shook a lot of us, especially master athletes who pride themselves on staying fit and staying healthy.
And it's a powerful reminder for all of us that are athletes that mileage and VO2 and max oxygen and everything we do to train can't replace preventive checkups. So, in this episode, we're going to break down a few things for y'all. What prostate cancer screening actually involves, how endurance training can affect men's health, and also some clear action steps for you and the runners you love can take this week to help stay healthy and stay on the roads.
Sounds great. You know, the first time that I heard this, Adele, the news that the president was diagnosed with cancer, it's the first thing that came into my mind was all of the past people that I know who been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Mm. And some of them were detected early, some of them were detected a little bit too late. And it just brings to my mind that ironic how we as athletes try to stay as healthy as possible and prolong our healthy years, but yet sometimes we skip the trip to the doctor and get these tests done that are crucial for our health, or that they can be detect something that's going wrong in the early times.
Well, I think you're right on that, and I'm a prime example of that on the female end of it, because in the last year, as you know, um, I'm in 65. I'm now 67. My kids asked me to do the basic whole physical scans. So inside and out, top to bottom, brain all the way down to my toes, inside and out. I've had every scan you can possibly imagine for the heart, the brain, all the urological, all the endoscopes, all the, everything digestive, all the female things that everything needs, eye exams, everything else. I've done them all. And I found some things out, as I've mentioned. So I think in this particular incident, knowing someone that's world known worldwide is a message to people. Stay on your checkups regardless of your physical health. I thought I was invincible. Joe Biden, he's an older gentleman. He's been president of the United States. He's come through a lot of life experiences and losses as well. So he is going to stay on top of his game to make sure he can either address this and live the quality of life he wants to for the rest of his life, and potentially hope for a cure before he may meet his passing because of this disease. So you really want to use all the preventative methods and opportunities you have in place regardless of your health and fitness as a world class athlete, and I know we know a bunch of them. So
Yes. Yeah. And my intention at the beginning when I thought about, okay, I definitely want to talk about this in the podcast. And I would like to invite one of the doctors that specializes in this, but I wasn't able to. So, in the absence of that, I would like to talk just as an athlete, like
right.
what are the things that we can do that are under our control, and preventative measures. And the first thing that comes to my mind is just that irony that even though we love to stay healthy in some ways, that sometimes we ignore other parts that are extremely hazardous to our health, not having those checks. I was at a conference not too long ago, and I talked about it on the previous podcast. And one of the speakers there said that he avoided colon cancer. He was able to detect it early because one of his friends passed away from colon cancer, and that's what made him go to his doctor and have that checkup, have that exam, and they were able to remove something that was in early stages and probably saved his life.
Right. And I think that's probably one of the greatest encouragers for us to make a step forward to check our health and wellness is the loss of someone dear to us. What happens if, and when you have an answer to that question, you can make a conscientious and intentional decision if you're faced with that kind of diagnosis yourself and you have the opportunity to seek treatment and care and potentially come through it, unlike the person that we may have lost. And you and I have both experienced that in our lives. I mean, your mom has had some major medicals, and obviously, people in your family now are checking those specifics. I have too. um, Larry, all of our significant people, family and friends, and Sherry, you stay on top of things because you don't want to experience the loss and you don't want others to experience the loss of you. I think some of the biggest things too is that it's an eye opener and an aha moment when someone who takes such good physical and mental, emotional, and spiritual care of ourselves as athletes. Um, are faced with challenges. And some of the biggest things you have to realize too, Victor, in this particular case, we're looking at our male athletes, right? Age can be a risk factor, right? You may be over 50. That's why all the medical tabloids, they tell you, please get a prostate cancer check at the age of 50, just like colonoscopies after the age of 50, and all these mammograms for women after the age of 40 now. So things change from the medical associations on what their guidelines are. But I think one of the biggest things is that you want to look at age, you want to look at family history. Is there an incident in family that you should probably investigate a little bit more or a little earlier in your life? Sometimes genetics can play a certain amount of influence on whether or not you do get a diagnosis like this. um, One of the biggest things that I researched a little bit was race can have a big effect on the risk factor too. African American men tend to have a higher risk of developing prostate cancer. I don't know the background on that, but that is a very, very big thing to pay attention to if you are of the African American demographic. And also diet and lifestyle, which we really are proponents of healthy lifestyle. It doesn't have to be Olympic endurance athlete training, but a healthy lifestyle with exercise contributes very, very genuinely to maintaining a lower risk of a lot of these, what we call senior or lifestyle diseases. So these are just a quick little general rundown of some of the risk factors that can be taken into consideration for prostate cancer. So I,
Yeah.
I know you have some issues too that you've checked into as well.
Yes, and I think what I'm thinking right now of what keeps most men from having a checkup, because
Mm.
I don't know the science behind it or research around it, but anecdotally, my experience has been that men tend to go less to the doctor than
Mm.
women, and I know that for also with my family. My dad would, if it wasn't for my mom, my dad probably wouldn't have ever gone to the doctor on anything. And then I start finding myself that, oh, most of the things that I had checked is because my wife kept telling me to go have that test or that vaccine. And I still have one that I haven't done, which is the shingles. She's
Ah,
been bugging me. My ex-wife has been bugging me about that. It's like, you got to get your shingles uh, vaccine. It's very painful. And I have a couple of relatives right now that are, they're female, but they are suffering from shingles.
wow.
And it's very painful. And that's when the light goes up. Hey, Sherry's been telling me to do this, and I haven't done it. But what is your take? Like, are you seeing the same thing that
Yeah.
men seem to be
Yes,
love?
I agree with you because you think you're invincible. You have to be this persona of I can handle everything. I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking care of my family. I'm going to be the breadwinner. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be this go-to guy who can do it all and have all the answers. but I have white coat syndrome too. When I say I'm talking about the male, the male gender, so to speak. White coat syndrome, as we all know, is you walk into a doctor's office and every possible thing that you can have happen to you, blood pressure goes up, heart rate races. You don't want that to happen to you. You're afraid of a shot. You're afraid of seeing blood drawn. You're afraid of being told you have something that you have to attend to. I call that the white coat syndrome, and that's it's a very real thing. So I
Yeah.
think too, as we are in our younger decades, which you and I are in our 50s and 60s, you think that you are invincible. I look at our, can look at our children, and the biggest thing that I see is where I was at the age of 30, my 32 and 35, and into my and hitting 40. That decade of my life, 30 to 40, was battling cancer. Now I'm looking at my 35-year-old son and my 30-year-old daughter, and yes, have they had things happen? Callie has, my daughter, and she's expecting her first child in a couple of months. My son Adam hasn't dealt with those same severe medical concerns. And yet, at 35, he's got a beautiful wife and two boys that he is very wary of taking care of himself and providing a legacy and a future for them. And a lot of that has to do with the experience of growing up with a mom who battled 10 years of cancer and another bout recently. So I think it's really a fearful thing of knowing that there is something wrong, that you're not completely perfect and capable and invincible. And I think that's not just men, but I will be honest with you. That's where I was for a few years, only because I'd come through a lot of things already.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think about that, because I know you've got family and friends that are probably struggling with that concept right now.
Yeah, I think my mom, we all, my siblings and I feel the same thing. Is that she's always telling us, "Yo, go to the doctor. You have insurance. Why you don't hesitate? Anything that's going on, have it checked by the doctor." But yet herself let some
Right.
things go on for a long time that could have been taken care of
Right.
uh, early on.
And she wouldn't be struggling so much from these last 6 to 8 months that she's had surgeries and other major things to be concerned about. Well, I do want to say a couple of things about prostate cancer, and I think it's easily detectable when you take the opportunity to go get checked. And a lot of men now, let's just say they're in their mid to late 40s, and they may have still a young family, maybe some kids getting to the age of high school, so early teens. I think it's a real awakening to say, do I still want to be here when that son or daughter is graduating high school? Do I want to be here to walk my daughter down the aisle? Do I want to be here to see grandchildren play sports or play in their school band or dance on a stage or play music in front of a lot of people? And that is the huge decision maker. If you make that step, that phone call, walk into an office, have a physical done, have some blood work done. My kids had to convince me for a couple of years. Some of it was because of the financial situation I was in. I did not have the Medicare or the insurance that I needed to pay for things. So that's why I've done it in the last year and a half to get a check, because Medicare and Medicaid have covered my expenses for the most part, probably 95% of everything. Before that, I'm healthy as a horse. I'm running marathons. I'm doing this. I did not want to know, and this is someone, I'm being very raw here, who was faced with a life or death decision at the age of 30 and 31. Do I allow myself to get pregnant? Do I allow myself to have a child during these 10 years of cervical and uterine cancer, um, and not be here to raise that child, to leave that child's welfare and future to his father, Eddie, and have my family rally around to raise my son, and had the beautiful miracle also to have Callie? I've been there before, and y'all, it's not an easy place to be. The mortality factor when I was in my early 30s was a huge directive in my life. And I don't wish that on anyone, to be honest with you, because it was something that I dealt with, something that I faced. And yet, it's now allowed me to use that age and that experience to be where I am now and achieve and experience life to the level I have and share that and say, all it takes is a phone call and an appointment. Just go be here for your children, your grandchildren, be here for your parents if they're still here. I know your mom's 90 now, right?
Yeah.
And you're still here for her, helping her through her medical situation in the last year. Hopefully have some quality left in whatever year she has left. So I think that's a huge factor that we can share with people.
Yeah.
And I think my understanding might be yours as far as prostate cancer is a very easily detectable cancer. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is, and the science is very advanced. I don't think there's any excuse for somebody not to go get tested, because what I think comes to my mind right away is like it would really suck for the doctor to tell you, "Hey, we could have done something 2 years ago, and now your chances are way low of over of curing you from something like prostate cancer." Which,
Right.
yeah, that would be very ironic and tragic.
Yeah. I have a friend who's actually been through a situation like that where the doctor said, "Oh, don't worry about it." I mean, a friend of mine's in his early 50s now, and he was very proactive. He's been a championship level tennis player for all his life. I helped him train and run his first marathon years ago at the age of 40. So which he thanks me to this day. He may have never done another, but he runs, very talented, very gifted runner, very gifted athlete, beautiful family, and had his regular checkups because of his career and his family. And he was faced with 3 or 4 times being told, "Oh, well, the numbers are high. Don't worry about it. The numbers are high. Don't worry about it. Just go about your business." And then all of a sudden, he's got a full blown prostate cancer diagnosis. So he's been through surgeries, treatments. I mean, to the point where now he's got the more severe level of proactive treatments. And I think the biggest thing is that we have to be an advocate for ourselves and for our health so that we are here for our families, that we're here for ourselves. I mean, you've got some clients who are coming through difficult situations and they want to train for a race or a run or a walk or a swim or just to ride their bike, but because they're still here, because they learned something and took the opportunity to take the step and find out, whoa, okay, this is what I'm doing. I am now cancer free from prostate cancer. I'm going to call Victor and I'm going to say, Victor, this is why I want to train to run a marathon
Yeah.
because I am here to do it. Right. So be
Yeah.
an advocate for yourself. Be an advocate. Don't let a doctor say, don't worry about it. Get a second opinion. Go get another checkup. Go get another test done and find the doctor that's going to be the advocate for you because you want to survive and be here for many more years to come and enjoy the people that are most significant to you. That, y'all, that is the bottom line. Bottom line. I have to say it.
So true. So true. So true. Get those tests, and then you can do your workouts worry free. If there's nothing, and if you are diagnosed with something, maybe perhaps it would be in the early stages that they can get taken care of, and you're back into your running schedule and training. And yes,
All the good stuff. I will share this with you. As I was doing some research before our podcast today, um, I picked up running and training and exercise with prostate cancer, either coming through it or post survival. Okay, surgeries and treatments, chemotherapy, radiation, whatever that particular unique situation is. And there's a lot of men out there who have gone on to do many types of endurance type of events because they had a choice. They were still here. Their bodies reacted and they built strength and all the endurance and capabilities again. Marathons, ultra marathons. You've got men climbing Mount Everest and using that platform to say, "Hey, get the test done, but look what I'm doing now with my life. I want that experience." And y'all, exercise, regular exercise, and good nutrition does help your risk factors stay lower. But the other part of exercising either during the disease or post cure from the disease, is it helps relieve a lot of the after effects of some of the treatment. Your body has to rebuild if you've had chemotherapies and radiations and hormone therapy. The other one that they use is immunotherapy, which stimulates immune system to fight cancer. There's other targeted methods as well, medications. Obviously, your radiation and chemo target certain things in your body, plus the monitoring of all that. The biggest thing is post all those types of treatments. Exercise is one of the key factors in managing the stress levels, both mentally and emotionally. You have a release in that, your endorphins kick in. You start to get the feeling of, oh, my body's feeling a little bit better. Look what I've been through. The other thing is that it helps your overall physical and appearance as well. Your body starts to look healthier again. You get a little bit more blood flow. You get a little bit more redness and pinkness in your cheeks again. You get a little bit more strength in your step. Y'all, just remember the basics of a good lifestyle, healthy diet, a little bit of exercise really, really does help with any of these disease type experiences that you may encounter. And I,
Especially
yeah.
cancer, right? Because it bring, when you're talking about that, it dawned on me how many races are done to raise funds for cancer, for different kinds of cancer. So I went ahead and went to Grok and I
Mm-hmm.
searched how many races are there to raise funds for specifically prostate cancer, and there's quite a few. And one of them is the Zero Prostate Cancer Run Walk.
Yep, yep,
Uh,
yep. And I
and
think it's nationwide. I think they try to do those nationwide, don't they?
yes, yes, it does say the largest men's health run series in the U.S. organized by Zero Prostate Cancer. It brings together family survivors and supporters to raise funds and awareness. It doesn't say where they have them, but it sounds like they have them in different parts of
Right,
the nation. Then there's the TCS London Marathon Prostate Cancer Research. It also,
right, right.
it does, I guess it ties to the London Marathon.
Yes, yes. I
So,
think it was, I mean, you've had the leukemia, you've had the heart, you've had the different types of cancer, obviously the breast cancer with the Susan G. Komen organization. But y'all, if you are healthy or you have someone, look these things up and just, even if you just go and do a race entry, you get a t-shirt and a medal. That's your reward. But what you've done is you've allowed a few of your funds from your entry fees to go towards research or to care. You've got this Steve Gleason ALS organization, No White Flags. It's incredible across globally now. But any of these things that you are encountered over your lifetime, put some time and effort into it if you have the opportunity and the ability to do it. And really, anything that you can do that helps your body transcends into helping others survive as well. I know Victor with Sherry, we spoke about this with her doing those 6 half marathons in consecutive days, and it's not the first time she did it recently. But she is my age. She's in her a little bit later 60s. She just had her birthday. She's been a diabetic for many years. Am I right?
that's correct. That's
And
correct.
imagine the platform Sherry has, doing what she does, living her lifestyle and dealing with her issues. And yet she's out there giving someone else the opportunity to see her do this and say, wow, that lady, and look what she's dealing with. What can I do? And I've got my ultimate health, right? So, y'all, please consider giving something back over the course of your lifetime and your abilities. If you're a runner or a walker or a cyclist or an Ironman, find one of your races that part of your entry fee and part of your success goes towards helping someone else. I mean, that is a key thing. We had Sam on with the diabetes organization, and he
Yes.
does a lot of things there. So these are some people that we've already introduced y'all to. So please, please, please consider that opportunity as well. And prostate cancer is very multifaceted disease. It's a very complex disease. A lot of different causes, a lot of different treatment options. If you do know someone, make sure that they advocate to find their best um, medical staff and their best medical information so that they can make informed decisions and what their course of action and therapy and treatment would be. That's just a key component with a diagnosis of prostate cancer.
And so I agree so much with you. And I think that so many things that people can do besides getting checked, running for a cause, giving themselves purpose for running. I think that their contribution can be so significant and easy to implement if you are, especially if you're already a runner. Look
Right.
at those races that are raising funds and find ways to raise fund if it's really in your heart to do
Mhm.
so, or you have a special reason why you are attracted to that particular disease, whether it's prostate, whether it's breast cancer, whether it's diabetes. Mm, I think your runs are much more powerful too when you have a purpose
Right.
why
Right.
you're doing that.
Right. Well, I think too, going back to our original comments about our former president Joe Biden, I think we want to make sure that y'all realize one of the reasons Victor suggested this particular topic is it's a worldwide piece of news. And if it can transcend to our simple conversation today and make an impact in one life, that one life affects a lot of different people. So we hope that any information we've shared with you today, our heartfelt wishes and prayers go out to the Biden family. We hope that our former President Joe finds some positive opportunities to treat his cancer. And I know it's obviously uh, become a lot worse on in his situation. But y'all, please understand that this was a topic dear to our hearts. We've had a lot of people in our lives deal with some tragic diseases and not have the results of you and I sitting here chatting today. Victor and I sharing some of our ideas and memories of those that we have lost to diseases. We just want to let you know we're out here with compassion and kindness and our abilities to help others. So remember that that's why we wanted to discuss this today. And I really appreciate Victor suggesting this for the two of us to share with y'all.
Yeah, well, thank you, Adele. And I want to encourage our listeners and challenge them and myself to go make that appointment, whatever it is, the checklist that you have to have checked, make that appointment, get it out of the way, and then go on your run.
And make a great decision, y'all. So listen, Victor and I are going to be back. We have some great things to talk to y'all about, some summer running. I think this is a teaser. This is a teaser. He's got some of his Ironman trainees that may come on and share some of experiences with you. And of course, we're still trying to get Sherry. We got to get her to be a little less fearful.
Yes. Yes, I think we can convince her to come on the podcast. I think I have a couple of the Iron Edge program participants that are wanting to come on the podcast and share their experience on training for the Ironmans, and some of them are training for marathons. And I've had quite a few success stories where using training peaks for most of our training.
Right, right, right,
And
right.
that's another one that I've offered some of my subscribers. If they're struggling on how to use a platform like Training Peaks, they can schedule a call with me and we'll go through how to use that platform uh, step by step.
Yeah.
And so they can go on. Anyway, those are things to come. Thank everybody for joining us. Thank you, Adele. And everybody stay healthy and run your best life.
Run your best life. We'll see y'all again real soon. Bye, my friend.
Bye.